White Rocket Entertainment, podcast number 963. Thank you, Boris. No problem. A tough loss in court and on the court. It's on this episode of Lincoln Lawyer. No, wait. It's the AU Wishbone, and it's next. From Southern Illinois and Eastern Virginia, with our new foofy cap, Mike Cap, it's the AU Wishbone podcast. John, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Van. How are you?
I'm aggravated. I'm outraged by more Bama shenanigans. Why must we always be beset by Bama shenanigans, John? Why?
Because they're a bunch of cheating good-for-nothings.
That's for sure. Well, you know, we've talked about it many times when we researched first time ever about the 89 Iron Bowl. What kept popping up?
Shenanigans.
Bama shenanigans over and over and over. That's exactly it. That's right. So, and they're at it again, and we're going to get to that in just a bit. This is the AU Wishbone podcast brought to you by White Rocket Entertainment, and I am your host, Van Allen Plexico, joined as always by my co-host.
I'm John Ringer.
Well, John, we got several things to cover tonight. We got football, as always. This is an Auburn show. We've got basketball, which we'll get to. We've also got some incredibly cool golf news. This is not usually an Auburn golf podcast, but there's certainly, once again, Auburn golf news worth talking about. So we will talk about it. But before we do any of that, as we always do, it's the Auburn Fun Meter. It's our weekly look at how much fun it is to be an Auburn fan right now. And on a scale of 0 to 10, how are you feeling about being an Auburn fan right now, John?
I've been having a lot of fun since later on Saturday, about like 3.5.
Yeah, you know the one thing though that just keeps being a ray of sunshine to me in Auburn fandom is every time I get a little bit down, Coach Golesh comes out and gives an interview or gives comments, and he just pumps me right back up again. He is a very energetic, fun, exciting coach. He really is kind of the opposite of Hugh Freeze and Tommy Tuberville, for that matter. And I've said this before, and I realize we'll get, emails and stuff from people saying you're crazy, but I don't mean it that way. But he reminds me of an NFL coach. I don't want him to go be an NFL coach. I want him to stay as Auburn's coach and us be successful. But just in terms of kind of his age, his look, his energy, he doesn't seem like good old Colonel, whatever, the old football coach of college. He seems like one of these new wave of NFL coaches that's out there innovating and getting the players fired up, and he's full of energy. That's what he reminds me of. You know what I'm saying? He seems like an NFL coach that you'd see coaching like, the Rams or something. I don't know. So that's just one more way that I have that it gives me hope, right, for the future. So
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. All right. So I usually pretty much go with the number you pick unless I wildly disagree. So that sounds fine. 3.5. First thing we got to talk about tonight, though, is the Auburn golf team and Jackson Coyvan. I mean, let me just hit the highlights right here for the folks listening who don't know all this. Okay. So we already knew he was great. We knew that he had helped carry the team to the national championship last year, whenever it was. He's now broken Tiger Woods records. The Auburn team went out to Hawaii to the Mauna Lani Resort for a tournament. And let's see. Here's just some of the highlights. He's the number 1 amateur golfer in the world. Could have gone pro, got his PGA card last year, but decided to come back to Auburn. And by the way, a reporter asked him about coming back to Auburn. Why'd he come back to college? He said he loves the free travel, which is cool. And he says he loves being with his friends, of course. And he noted that the pro the pro golfers always talk about missing the college experience after they leave. He said the PGA will be there when he's ready to go. He's just having a good time. And brother, I'm with him on that. I dragged my experience out as long as I could, man. I can tell you right now. They had to kick me off campus. Look, son, you need to go out in the world. Enough of this. Auburn effectively lapped the field at the Amur-Ari Invitational in Hawaii, matching an NCAA scoring record with a 77 under par, 13 strokes ahead of second place Texas, largely thanks to Jackson. The 20-year-old finished the event 25 under par. Good gosh.
Yep.
With back-to-back rounds at 10 under. He broke the NCAA's 36-hole scoring record of 18 shots under par, which was set 30 years ago by a little golfer by the name of, Tiger Woods in the 1996 Pac-12 championship. His 10 under 62 on each of the first 2 days was 2 shots better than Tiger Woods' previous NCAA record. First player in NCAA history to post 2 rounds of 62 or lower in the same event, and led the individual field by 5 strokes, scoring 62 under in his first 2 rounds and 5 under on the final day, sealing a new program record for individual scoring. Get this, and to cap it all off, the whole time he had 1 bogey and 20. I know. How many bogeys do you have on by the second hole?
I couldn't do that on my best day at a putt-putt course. So
no. 1 bogey, 24 birdies, and an eagle. That's just unearthly. How does any human being do that? That's insane.
No, when you talk about breaking Tiger Woods records in college golf, we're in the serious territory here.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, to do something like that, you've got to master every phase of the game. That's what's impressive to me is you can't just be a good long driver off the tee. You can't just be a good putter or whatever. You got to be great at everything to do that. And that just
consistent.
Yes. And consistent. Yeah. It's just amazing. So good old Jackson, man. I said it before. I'm going to appreciate him and enjoy him as long as he's at Auburn. And as soon as he goes to PGA, I'm going to start watching the PGA Tour again and be rooting for him and watching him just kick butt on those guys, the Texas guys and all them that I don't like on the tour. So can't wait. All right. So what about the basketball game? We didn't play a midweek game. We just have the one game to look back at, the Alabama game. So,
yeah, we had we took care of bye week on Wednesday, and then Saturday we lost to Alabama 96-92 in Neville. And we're going to start, as we do with some of these football games, we're going to do some apportionment of blame.
Yeah. Well, you have a good quote here, though, that I want to highlight real quick.
Go.
You quoted Stephen after the game saying 92 points at home is enough against anyone. This is on our defense. So while the defense played lights out for like the first 12 minutes, held Alabama to like 20 points the first quarter of the game or more, and then they kind of slipped.
All the way until the first 2 minutes were left in the first half. So it was the first 18 minutes of the game. Games are 40 minutes, 2 20-minute halves. The first 18 minutes, Auburn held them to 26 points.
That was incredible.
The next 22 minutes, Alabama scored 70.
Yeah, and a big part of that was they got hot from 3-point range, and we were not stopping that.
They were, and they shot 52% from 3 for the game, and after that first stretch, I think it was more in the 60s. But some of those shots were, LeBaron Filan making difficult shots with the defender in his face and a hand up, and those are, you just kind of tip your hat, keep moving.
Right.
But there were also plenty of series where Auburn lost guys on the perimeter. They were wide open, where Alabama set up the 3-point shot and then had guys cut to the basket, and they got easy layups and dunks where we lost guys in the screen game. And that's on our defense.
Yeah, it's true. So, 70 points, almost all in the second half, is just mind-boggling. That's it. Just I don't know. I mean, what do you ascribe it to? Why was Alabama able to do that suddenly, or why were we able to stop them until then?
I mean, I think they wore us down a little bit, and one of those factors was bench. So one of the other apportionment of blames that's related to this is the bench, right?
Yeah,
Alabama is much deeper on the bench, and they were more productive and effective with their bench players in this game. Jovic had 2 points and 2 rebounds. Freeman, who we really needed in this game because of his size and his defensive versatility, quickly got into foul trouble and then couldn't play most of the game. He finished with 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal. We needed him to play against some of those big Alabama perimeter players. On the other side of the equation, Alabama had 28 bench points.
And I mean, again, we scored 92. So we didn't really, even though we weren't again shooting lights out from 3-point range, we scored on a good Alabama. Well, they don't play great defense, but still scoring 92 against an SEC team, like Steven said, you ought to be able to win that.
No, that's right. And they're not giving up 92 to everybody.
No. So at least they
and then the other part of this, which we're both angry about, is the legal issue.
Yeah. So there was a hearing on Friday before the game, and there was and he got to play apparently.
Well, because they didn't make a ruling in time, and the court closed at 5:00 on Friday, Van. And this was after the hearing had been postponed several times. It pushed back to that Friday. It was supposed to be.
Come on, man.
Supposed to be about 10 days ago, but the weather, some other issues, some scheduling conflicts. We got to push it back.
So I'm to assume Alabama will be forfeiting this game then. Is that correct?
You're incorrect, man.
Wait.
Using this player at all, this BS legal shenanigans to get him eligible and to then kick the can down the road so they could make it work and play him in this game. It's just no honor. Not playing the game the right way, trying to get by and cheat. So
you are out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order.
There you go. Why do they not have to forfeit every game he played in then if he's ineligible? They played with an ineligible player.
I agree with you. And but a court ruled for that moment he was ineligible. I definitely think like the NCAA tournament committee has already said they're not going to look at Alabama as that team. They're going to look at Alabama as the team they are.
So in other words, they're not going to give them extra credit. They're going to seed Alabama as they currently exist, not as they did when they had that guy. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that's fine. Doesn't give us our win back though.
And that's
bastards though.
And they beat A&M too. They should be mad as well. It's this is not the reason that Auburn lost the game,
right?
But it just goes to show how desperate they are to win against us that they would pull something like this for this purpose.
Well, I think that we should give a respectful farewell to Bediako. All right. So let's just stop for a second and
bye.
Okay. Yeah, I feel better about it.
And then the other apportionment of blame thing I put in here was the officiating. It was not a great officiated game, but it was also officiated in a way that was very physical, where there were many shots at the rim that Auburn did not, then other games would have been called a foul, and Auburn would have gone to the free throw line, and this game they did not. And so that the style of officiating that was allowed to happen in this game favored Alabama.
Yes, 100% did. Yes. I still can't believe we out rebounded them, but I guess it's not that shocking. But we were out rebounding them pretty solidly there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one of the things that was really keeping us ahead in this game for the longest time was that Alabama kept turning the ball over. First half, when we had like a 10-point lead the whole first half, they kept turning the ball over, and that helped, obviously.
And it was a big difference in them coming back as they basically stopped turning over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once they quit giving us bonus possessions, they were able to kind of take the lead and then hold us off by just a few points. So,
and we didn't even take advantage of all those bonus possessions. Multiple times we got a steal and didn't convert into a basket, which was very frustrating.
Oh, yeah. It opened possessions where we go down and miss a three and don't get the rebound or something.
Well, or we go to the basket and don't convert.
Yeah, it bounces out or whatever. We had a couple of rejections and stuff. So very frustrating game. Tahad finally did have a pretty good game, at least. This is the thing that's interesting about Tahad this year is he hasn't really had more than one or two games where he's been pretty solid at shooting threes, which should be his bread and butter. But he's been able, when he kind of, in the games where he sort of makes up his mind early that he's not going to be lighting it up from three and then attacks and stuff, he's had pretty good games. And this was one of those 25 points, 7 assists, 2 turnovers. I mean, that's pretty good. So,
yep.
Again, when he stops just firing up the threes every time he gets the ball and actually tries to penetrate, dish, all that, he's not bad. And he did hit some threes in this game. He hit some big threes in this game.
Yes, he did.
So maybe that's a sign he's turning it around. That would be great. I just was noting about this game, about this team. This is an Auburn basketball team that is capable of beating almost anybody on the right night, but it's also capable of losing to nearly anybody. You just never know which team's going to show up. And in some games, both, right? Because the game that the team that played the first half of this game should have beaten Alabama by 15 by the time the game was over. The team that showed up in the second half of this game was never going to beat Alabama and wouldn't have beaten Florida and wouldn't have beaten Arkansas. And it's not going to beat Vanderbilt. So they need to get I know this is a strange lineup. I still haven't really got a handle on this team because they're all so new. Some of them are freshmen and some of them are transfers, right? We've been down this road a million times, but I still don't have a feel for this team. And I think part of it is this. Auburn teams in the past under Bruce always managed to keep kind of a core of 2 or 3 guys every season to season, that were becoming juniors or seniors and had been around for 2 or 3 years and kind of had become the foundation, the core. And I mean, the only player we have on this year's team that has anything like that is Tahad, and he was the freshman last year. So this team just doesn't have a 3-year guy that's played for 2 years before, a Jared Harper, a Bryce Brown, a Dylan Cardwell, Bruce always
Jalen
gave it.
Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Jalen Williams, exactly. Bruce was always good at kind of mixing those two together. He'd have that core that was already there, and he'd bring in the new ones and he'd mix them together. This is the first time, really in a long time at least, that we've had we've completely cleared house, couldn't help it, and had to bring in this whole new bunch. And I was hoping that we'd figure out their chemistry fairly early on, and I think to some degree we have, but not completely, because they're still capable of surprising you good and bad. So
I think what you're talking about is inconsistency, right?
Yeah.
I think we've gotten spoiled the last few years with teams that were much more veteran filled, and the ceiling and the floor were much closer together for the last few years.
That's
for
right.
this team, the ceiling and the floor are much further apart.
Much further.
When this team plays like they played against Florida, when they play that kind of defense, look out. But when they play defense or like they did against Missouri or whatever, and offense in that game. Like anybody in this league could beat us.
That's right. That's it. All right. Well, what's coming up? We got two big games coming up. Two road games, don't we?
No, home game first, and then a road game. So, but two tough games. We cannot let this Alabama loss hang around and beat us again. We got to clean it out of the system, because tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we play Vanderbilt in Auburn, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central on SEC Network.
I had it 6:30, but maybe it's 6. That's fine. Earlier the better is fine with me. So Vanderbilt at Auburn, and this is a Vandy team. Yeah, 14th in the country in KenPom. They've been in the top 25 all season long, just in the polls or whatever. Tough team, but they have shown vulnerabilities. They're not undefeated or anything. They have found ways to lose, so it's not hopeless, right? We've got a shot.
They lost to Oklahoma this weekend. Oklahoma's terrible.
So there's a sign of good hope there. All right, and then Saturday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, ESPN2. We've got we're at Arkansas. This is the return match. We played Arkansas in Auburn very early in the season, like the third or fourth game, I think. So we go to Arkansas, and yeah,
They took care of them at home, but that's going to be a different game over there. It's going to be tough.
Different game. In fact, I saw a ranking of environments, SEC basketball environments, and we were number 2. Arkansas was number 1. And I mean, I'm not going to argue that. That's fair.
Yeah, I'll argue it.
Whenever Auburn's ranked in the top 2 or 3 of anything like that, I'll take it. I'm not going to quibble, but as long as we're not below about 3 or 4 in those things. I did see a ranking of the arenas. I may have mentioned this last week, and Auburn ended up 3rd with Thompson Bowling at number 2 and Rupp Arena at number 1. So that's not too bad. Not too bad.
Arena.
Well, they were pointing out that Rupp is the only SEC basketball arena that looks like it could be an NBA arena.
NBA crowd too.
Well, okay, that's interesting. Thompson Bowling's just huge.
Yeah.
Just a big cavernous. Yeah, that's Tennessee for those that are not in the know. All right, you want to turn our attention to football and what's going on there? Yeah. We got a new signing the other day. Very exciting.
On National Signing Day, Auburn signed Australian punter Max Bork.
Max Bork. John, if you're going to go out and get me some Bork, I would like the Max Bork that you're able to get. Do not minimize the Bork factor, John. I want Max Bork.
Listen, I hope that him punting the ball 60 yards becomes like a borking it thing. I really hope it does.
Oh, no. Bork. What about Dallas Walker IV?
So this Dallas Walker IV was a defensive lineman that played last year. He was granted an extra year of eligibility. He will be back next year. This is big news. This guy's really huge and played a lot down the stretch. It was very effective. And so it's another big, strong, veteran defensive lineman we can plug in the middle. And so those guys are valuable as the SEC grind goes along.
Yeah, and I always, I like a guy that's the 4th, because you don't generally say, this whole name combination, this person has just not worked out 3 generations in a row, but what the heck, let's try it again for number 4. No. That's not how it works. You say, we had 3 good ones in a row. Let's go ahead and make it number 4.
I like it.
He's Dallas Walker the 4th. I like it.
I was very happy to hear that news. He's good. And as part of the signing of that Australian punter, Auburn now has 40 transfers and 20 high school recruits this offseason.
Good heavens. Talk about, we were talking about the basketball team turning over. Football team ain't far behind.
Yeah, it's truth. I mean, you're going to need a roster and a number list. I know that.
I mean, Bork and Dallas the 4th notwithstanding, there's going to be times on offense where 9 players on the field could be South Florida.
It's going to be times on the offense where like there'll be 11 players, none of whom were here last year.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying of the 11 offensive players on the field, we could have as many as 9, I think, right? Because we got quarterback, running back, receivers, tight end,
2 offensive
center, and at least another offensive lineman, right? So that's 8. That's it. That's 8. I mean, you got to have 5 offensive linemen, and at least we have. I know we got the center. Did we get? We got at least one.
Yeah.
The center and 1 offensive lineman.
Yes.
Okay. So as many as 8 of our players, if the South Florida running back is out there, and Nimrod and that's a great name, Nimrod and Neptune, man. I mean, we had to deal with. We haven't talked about this, but we need to. We had to deal with Aroma Shadu and Obamanu. And we were able to adapt very quickly to saying Aroma Shadu and Obamanu. And that's not easy. That's not easy.
No.
Now we get to say Neptune and Nimrod. Come on. That's just and I say you. That is huge.
And Coder.
Now, yeah, but Neptune and Nimrod that sounds like 2 horses in the Kentucky Derby right there. I don't know. Sounds like 2 X-Men villains. I'm trying to figure out what exactly they are. Yeah. So 2 Doberman pinchers that come out and greet you at the mailbox. Neptune and Nimrod. Those are just 2 cool names. When I saw those, I'm like, wow, okay, Neptune and Nimrod, cool.
All right, sure. And then we had the big press conference midweek from the coach that you enjoy hearing speak, and both coordinators.
We did. We got to hear from Gordon for the first time, or at least the first time that I paid any attention. So I was excited about that. I have thoughts. So what was your reaction to their comments?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed hearing him speak. It got me a little fired up. The head coach said we're going to run the crap out of the ball, basically, and that's always encouraging to hear. And he made a joke about us having a prayer circle for the offensive line signees working out, and I thought a lot of Auburn people were like, yeah, I'm in.
I don't think he understands that Gus Malzahn was our coach for a long time, and so we've been having prayer circles for the offensive line for years. This is not new. We've been praying that offensive line into shape for a long time.
We're ready there. We're ready to step in.
Rod Wilson.
And then he did talk about how much difference having all the South Florida players will make and installing the offense. Big difference.
Everybody's been talking about that, including us, for like the last 3 or 4 months. But this was like the first time that I've heard him basically come out and say it helps him sleep at night. He said knowing that helps him sleep at night.
Yes.
And that's good. That's a good thing.
It was good. And then Durkin talked about Deshaun Womack, the big signee from Ole Miss, who's a defensive end, who's definitely going to step in and play as an edge pass rusher. He started LSU, spent some time the past couple years at Ole Miss, and Durkin just talked about how he's like an NFL type body as an edge rusher, and that he's from that same freaking Baltimore high school, St. Francis, where we've had a bunch of other players over the last few years. And that's a guy they think is going to be able to come in right away and make a big impact.
Absolutely. By the way, I forgot one other thing I was going to note about Golesh's comments is that he referred to Auburn as a blue blood football program. And I mean, I agree completely. We got 9 national championships. We've got more undefeated seasons in the last how many ever years than anybody. So we are definitely, I mean, we've always been, we've talked about this. We always hover around number 12, number 13 all time. Alabama, again,
Alabama looks at that and says, well, we're number 1 or whatever. They're not really. They're somewhere in the top 3 or 4. And you guys you suck. You're way down there. I always point out, there's like 200 teams. There's like 200 football teams. And we're like number 12. So have some perspective, for crying out loud, right? I mean, we never have claimed we were the top program in the conference or anything. Of course not. Of course not. But we want to be competitive and be one in the mix. That's all we don't ask a lot of this universe, right? We just ask to be in the mix more often than not. And that there be more of the high, because we had the highs already. We already have the highs. We don't have to manufacture highs that we've never had before. We've had the highs. We've also had the lows. We just don't want so much of this.
That's right.
We want it more like that. Okay. And I'm doing a jagged mountain for those that are on audio versus like a kind of a sine wave, right? So all that to say, he is right that we are a blue blood program. But I thought this was interesting. He said that every player he talks to has kind of a slightly different perspective on Auburn. And I don't doubt that for a minute, right? Because if you grew up as a kid seeing Cam Newton and Nick Marshall and Trey Mason and all that, you probably think Auburn is a great program. But if you grew up kind of focusing on Clemson and Derek Watson or whatever, or Alabama or somebody else, Ohio State, then you probably think Auburn's kind of a mid of the pack, And so I totally get it because, again, the highs versus the lows. So he's out there trying to, Tuberville had to do it. I remember Gene Chizik saying that he would go into a high school and talk to a player, and they'd say, well, you guys aren't Alabama. And Chizik would say, we have a winning record over Alabama the last 20 years. And Chizik said, which was true at that time, right? Back in 09, 10, 11. And Chizik would say that the players would just kind of look at him like, what? You don't have a winning record over Alabama? He's like, yeah, we do. Because we did. But it just depends on the kind of the life experience and the perspective of the players. So he's out there having to fight that. And I just want to say, welcome to the fight, Coach Golesh, because some of us have been fighting that fight their entire lives. And now he's finding out. He's finding out what it is to be an Auburn football person now.
Amen.
Not always fun. It's sometimes very challenging. You got to fight a lot of disinformation. And we have the kings of freaking disinformation and shenanigans right across the state, which doesn't help. They've got a big, loud megaphone, and they're full of crap. And they're happy to spew that crap out that megaphone 24/7, 365.
Amen.
Clip that.
I was going to say, that's it for the show tonight, kids. Fans laid it out.
There you go. Oh, Daryl Dapprich called Joel Gordon, our offensive coordinator, Commissioner Gordon. I like it. What do you think? There's some others we can
I like it.
I mean, there's Flash Gordon, but I don't want to give him that yet. He has to earn Flash Gordon. I think you start out Commissioner Gordon, which is you're cool, but you're sometimes befuddled by Batman.
I say maybe you got to start as Lieutenant Gordon or something.
Yeah, see, I don't know my Batman mythos as much as some do. I just know he's the guy in the trench coat that stands there talking to Batman, and he turns around and Batman's gone. So he looks like a little foolish sometimes. Not his fault. Batman does that to everybody. But it's all right. So he's going to be Commissioner Gordon. I have to get a clip from the Batman animated series or the movies. But he could work his way up. Oh. And our offense is supposed to go really fast, right?
Yep.
I might end up going with Gordon Johncock. Oh! I don't know if our listeners appreciate that. Are you familiar with Gordon Johncock?
No.
No, really. IndyCar race driver, big time, won the Indianapolis 500 a couple of times back in like the 60s and 70s.
No idea. I thought you were making that up.
Arch enemies with Johnny Rutherford, A.J. Foyt, the Unser brothers, Gordon Johncock.
All right. Those people I had heard of.
Drove the red and blue STP car. So if we go really fast, he might get promoted up to Gordon Johncock. We'll see.
We'll just call him
all right.
treatment.
That's right. Stone Temple Pilots. Oh, wait, I got to go into the patrons now. I just wore myself out. You have any thoughts about the football team before we go into that?
But while Van's being patrons, I will say the other thing Gordon said was talked about Byron Brown, and he said he's tough as nails. He's full of grit. He's a great competitor. He said Byron Brown kind of inspired that whole South Florida program, and he's going to do the same thing here. So I like that.
And you know, the other thing I keep thinking about with Byron Brown is everybody's just sort of hoping he'll be what he was last year again this year, which would be great. He's going to be a year older. He's going to be a senior. Think about the jump that some quarterbacks we've had in the past have made from junior to senior. He could be off the charts better this year than he was last year.
He could be better. And he's going to have some better players around him.
Some better players around him, some that he already's comfortable with that are a year older also, and probably been through a better weight program, training program. Going to have a bigger, louder crowd around him for a whole lot of games. Going to have SEC things on the line. I mean, yeah, it's going to be fun to see. All right, well, I got the hiccup suddenly. This is not good. The AU Wishbone podcast is presented to you ad-free. Ad-free. This right here is where many podcasts do ads that you have to fast forward through. We're not doing ads. We're not fast forwarding through crap. I'm just here to thank the people that keep you from having to hear ads. And by the way, don't fast forward too quick, because a lot of people say this is their favorite part of the show. Because it's not me and John, it's our patrons who write this part of the show, right? So we have to thank the following folks that keep this show ad-free and keep this show on the air. That includes the great Samuel Salvatore. I'm going to check and see if he's, nope, not okay. So he is our what's the word I'm looking for, John?
Title
sponsor for worst coaches in the world. That is right. Thank you. I just saw your note where you said check email, Van. Well, I guess I better check my email. I'll pop that up right now. Anyway, in addition to Samuel Salvatore, we also have to thank Logan Chilton, who reminds us, what do you sacrifice to be an Auburn fan? And of course,
so what do I sacrifice? Everything.
Thank you, boss. Ben Spooner. The soundboard gets all messed up when I have to go to the back page. Ben Spooner.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, I've messed up the soundboard. My apologies. Carl Von Drunkert, Chris and Clinton Stewart. My Auburn football hope meter is going up again. Yeah. Let's see. Earl Ricks, Phil Amthor now giving Van and John a break from. No! Since the dismal years are over, I hope. Boris doesn't understand what dismal years we're referring to. Richard Stevens, Steve Trawick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trawick, Willie Carden, Matt Flowers, Wynn from Norman, Oklahoma, Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC, William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, Eric Morgan, Michael Kirshner, War Eagle Van, and John. I thought I had it on here, but.
I mean, they just say that we're some dogs, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, because it is over. It is over. All right. David W.D. Sammons, Esquire, Harry Zagger, G-Money, Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson, Dan Thompson, a few more patrons, then back to the authorities. By the way, John, I'm calling out once again, if anybody out there has an audio clip of Andy Burcham saying that Auburn is going to the Final Four again after we beat Michigan State, I guess it was, Michigan or Michigan, I can't even remember which one we beat second. Get that to us, because I want to redo us a new opening for the basketball season part of the year. We have the 2019 Final Four, but I have a few ideas to change it, and I just need Andy I've never heard it, but I've never been able to find it. You can find the 2019, but I can't find the 2025. So if you got that, let me know, please, folks. Catherine England, no one fights like Gaston. War Eagle always. Jacob and Robin Fleming. Mickey B. Winston Body, washed up fantasy F1 team principal. By the way, John, all but one of the car designs has been revealed now. Did you see the new Cadillac design?
I did. Saw the Super Bowl commercial.
Yes.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it's okay. Black and white, kind of. It kind of looked kind of bluish and silver in a way. I think it's got some chrome parts on it, which will be kind of cool. But yeah, so we'll see. I was hoping, I saw like a mock-up somebody did of a yellow one. Oh, it looked nice, the yellow. Kind of like the way Renault looked a few years ago, but with more yellow and less black. The Renaults looked like a yellow jacket out there. This was much more yellow with just some black and red trim. It looked really good. You know, the car that looks really good so far to me is Audi. It's got like the red back end and then like the black and silver front. That looks sharp. Anyway, some of them looked exactly the same as always, like Red Bull and Ferrari. They never change. So, and I saw McLaren made this whole big production out of unveiling their new car. Looks exactly the same as last year. It's this papaya orange with some black on it. Just okay. Looks fine. That's no problem. Just don't act like it's this revelation that you just put the orange and black on there. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom, 2008-09 Taliban Wrangler World Champion. H-Town Danny, WDE Richie, Chris Hilton, Bob, WDE Salmons, Auburn University debate team, 74-75, and current Sleazy Shyster. Algo, Rhythm and Blues, Rusty Owens, Goodbye You. Hello, Happiness. Luther and Kelly Ottaway. Boop, 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 boop. What do you call a bee that lives in America? A USB. Live in America. Live in America. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I know it. Todd Robinson, a.k.a. undisputed 2012 doubles badminton intramural champion. That is specific, man. Chad McDowell, Auburn football's Elvis, Wade Ward. I'm going to go ahead and do it this time.
Like an unwanted neighbor that comes over and visits.
From the Weather Channel, Reynolds Wolf.
Thunder snow.
I enjoy that every now and then. Philip Martin, Jeff Hunter, David G. A great day, comrades.
We sail into history.
Oh, it's so good. Timothy, I need to watch that again. I try to hit Hunt for Red October about once a year, maybe. It's a great movie.
It's a good one.
Which is a better submarine movie? Hunt for Red October or Ice Station Zebra?
Up for October.
Okay. Is it close at all for you?
I mean, I enjoy Ice Station Zebra, and it's a different type of movie too. A little bit. There's some ground combat stuff in it.
Yeah, I love the on the ice sheet with the guys with. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. It is a great movie. And I tell you this, I was never a big Rock Hudson fan, but if he had done more movies like Ice Station Zebra, he'd have been like an action star. He'd have been a bigger star than he was.
Yeah.
All right. Timothy, Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan, Patrick Williams says the AU Wishbone. It is simply,
whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. Woo!
Boris is making a lot of appearances tonight. Oh no, hold on. Shannon Butson, Construction Tiger. Papa Todd.
You're right.
Everything kaflooey here. Yeah, I made a disaster. Oh, Cato, the SEC Pick'em champion. Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, 7-time North America hide and seek champ, and last year's BB bracket winner. Tim Pittman, our very own Boris the Tiger. What? Charles Mooney. What do Alabama field goal kickers and polygamists have in common? A lot of misses.
calibrate your enthusiasm.
Amen. Amen to that. David D. Auburn Blue, Dr. Crackham, Bill Weathers, Eternal Glory. Walt would like to wish Gus a happy retirement and would gladly take him back as run game consultant. I get it. Antoine Morris, ABB, Wiggerbur, the 2005 Auburn University Intramural Horseshoes champion. Had a lot of horseshoe players. Tyler Ward, Mark Squire. Cue the anthem, boys. Auburn, number one. Always fun. Gets a nice little workout there. Alex Wynn, Kenneth Brent Raines, the barbecue.
You have failed me for the last time.
AKA Auburn Dead for Life. John Stubbs, Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth and Darren Sutherland, Ben Amos. We're still not done. We're still not done. Almost done. Spanky, I'm at the bottom of this list because
Brock Wilson!
And you know that right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement. You know what I mean? It's factual.
Hey, what can you say? It is. Chris Como, Darren Pyle, Theodore Gary, David Smiley, Trevor Johnson. Man, the little foam cover on the microphone is making a lot of difference this week. Royce Alvarez, college equestrian expert Auburn Elvis. Hey, you falling up. John Atsuki, Paul Banks, and MVP captivating Kathy Bright.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Soundboard has a little lag to it this week. I don't know what's going on. Ben Regas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald, I'll buy this for $1. Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Brown, Siberian Tiger. What? The Slinko family, Daniel Witten, Tim Sauls, Jim McCrory. Oh, boy. I will. Let's let Boris read this one. I will lick the toes of you. I will not lick the toes of you. I do not like those toes of woe. I am Tiger, not a hoe. This is Boris the Tiger. Thank you, Boris, for sparing me from having to do that. New York Tiger had a grandfather who raised poultry. He was a chicken tender. God, my Lord in heaven this week. My goodness. CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, Howard Franz, Peter Wang, Willie Moe, Zach Doran, Stephen Thompson, and Chris, plus our one-time anonymous donors. Thank you all so much. www.auwishbone.com. Click on the big orange button. And now I'm just going to play it out because I know who it's going to be. Coming up, we have listener questions and around the SEC. But first, brought to you by Samuel Salvatore, it's our weekly look at the biggest knuckleheads, danderheads, and run boats that ever whooshed the rudda. It's our worst coaches in the world. Woo! And I think we just got to go with having all kind of soundboard problems tonight. I'll just throw it out there. Nate Oates. He may have won the battle, but I feel like he lost the war. And any respect I had for him is long gone now. Like I had.
Nate Oates.
Just go with it because it works better that way.
Nate Oates and his judicial accomplices.
Yes. That is this week's worst coaches
and judges.
Judges in the world. All right, let's see. I'm going to look up. Jared here, and I do not have an email from Jared since January 4th.
So you, the listener, need to send Jared suggestions for Guess the Game to our colleague at Yard Sale Artist on various social media sites.
Okay, there you go. All right, so Van checked the email, did not find anything. We did worst coaches in the world. I think that just means we're two.
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun, dun, dun. On the AU Wishbone podcast.
What's in the mailbag this week, John?
Before I jump in the mailbag, I just have to say, very happy for Derek Hall.
Yes.
Nehemiah Pritchett was on that team last night too, the Seahawks team.
Yes.
Happy for them.
If I'd thought about it, I'd have put that in the show notes up around the golf thing, but I didn't think about it. But you're right. Yeah. Derek Hall, man. We love Derek Hall, and it was so good to see him out there just wreaking havoc. He should have been the MVP of the game.
Also could have been their punter.
Yeah, it's true.
No, he was great. Very happy for Derek. He deserved it.
Yep.
All right. We got one email tonight. So this is me, John, putting it on the listeners. You gotta send more emails. You gotta bring it.
Tell them. Straighten them out.
This one, we did have one other email this week, but it was a AI image of Van and I. So I'm not.
Oh yeah, that thing going around on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, and somebody did one of you and me. That was cute. It was. I appreciate the going to the trouble to do it. Yeah.
This is from freaking emailer Bill Miner, and the subject line is Auburn bobsled team. He says, "Hey guys, in light of Van's awesome Raising Cane's bobsled, which I did see an ad for indicating Raising Cane's is a legitimate sponsor of the U.S. bobsled team.
Nice.
It made me recall that Herschel Walker was on the 1992 bobsled team because of how athletic he was, and because he wanted to do it. If Auburn had a 4-man bobsled team, who would you have on it? Obviously, you need good athletes to get a great running start, but you also need a driver with soft hands to be able to steer the sled. The track could be good. It was also fun seeing Auburn's own gold medalist Christy Coventry, who is now the president of the IOC, give some remarks.
Incredible.
If only she dropped a War Eagle during her speech, Bill Miner.
Did she, or he said if only?
If only she had.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's right. Yes, I did see that Christy Coventry was the head of the IOC. That's incredible. First female. And it's Auburn person.
For this bobsled team, we're going to say you get them at their peak physical Auburn, not at their current.
You got to have Bo Jackson. There's just no two ways about it. Greatest athlete of the 20th century. You want him pushing that thing some way or another, right? Okay. Where do you go from there? I mean, he made some good comments about certain attributes, and I'd have to stop and think who has those attributes. Do you want like a quarterback or a receiver with the hands or whatever? Or you just stick 4 of our great running backs out there and let them go? You know, I mean,
you do that. I might go 3 running backs and a receiver.
Yeah. Who had the really, like, Courtney Taylor? Is he too tall?
No, I mean
Courtney Taylor.
If you want to go, if it's a weight is an issue, you want to go so smaller guy with great hands. You could do Ryan Davis or whatever, right? But,
yes, you could. That's true. So Courtney Taylor or Ryan Davis as your front guy, and then Bo is in there. You don't want Tracy Rocker in his prime. I don't know.
No, we got to have speed and power together. So I like your running back idea. You could do a linebacker or something like. I mean, somebody like Carlos Dansby.
Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, one of my first thoughts was Ronnie Brown. Peak Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, big and fast and strong. All right. So we've got one of our 2 receivers there at the front. We got Ronnie Brown, Bo Jackson. You know, honestly, Kerryon Johnson would probably be good.
I considered him. I think he's on the list. I thought about Brandon Jacobs for a minute.
Yeah. I was gonna say Cadillac is not right. This is not the exact body shape we want. He was more of like almost a power scat back.
Leaner.
Yeah. I don't know. Where else you would go? Stephen Davis?
Yeah, that's the guy. That's it.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Not a bad little team. Well, John, we may have just set a record for the shortest show we've ever done where we weren't trying to be in a hurry. But
listen,
I'm not complaining.
It's Monday for the soundboard too, Van. I know it's so one of the things that we're going to do in a future show we've been talking about is Van wants to do some kind of off-season vibes check on the other SEC football programs. It's not the barbecue show, but we're just kind of like putting our finger up in the wind and going like,
how are they doing
that one?
How are they doing
right
right
there? Yeah.
Yeah. So we can
And we're not going to do hundreds of hours of research on this. I'm just laying it out there right now. This is vibes. We'll know a few things and then we'll just swing.
We save the research for the books. People pay their hard-earned money for those books and they want facts, but for this show, we just fly by the
facts are
facts. Hey, we have been called the drive-by shooting of editorial sports journalism. But I don't know. We're not entirely fact optional, but no. But we are an Auburn. I've always said it, right? There are shows that cover Auburn, and there are Auburn shows, and we are first and foremost an Auburn show. And believe it or not, we're going into our 15th season of doing this fall.
Crazy too.
I mean, we've been on weekly YouTube now for about 2 months. So there's people that think we're brand new. Oh, my friends. No. Go to www.auwishbone.com or auwishbone.podbean.com, and you can find 14 seasons of this on audio mostly. There's some stuff on the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, www.auwishbone.tv. Or not www. Just go to auwishbone.tv on YouTube. There you go. All right. We're right at an hour, John. You ready to lock it up and rock and roll?
Let's do it.
All right. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. War Eagle, John.
Ring of in.